whole different array of running backs, of course, with the young guys coming in, and then the wide receiver, hopefully Justin Ross on the field, and Clemson gets back to the standard at wideout that we've seen in previous years.
Yeah, well, Justin Ross coming back. I mean, I'm sure he's got a few more medical things he has got to clear, but it seems like pretty much a foregone conclusion. He's also moving to the slot, which will be different. He's pretty tall for a slot receiver, so that's a big, maybe the biggest X factor in terms of playmakers that Clemson will have this year, and they lose a lot, even though the offensive line may be the number one thing for the offense, and even though they're losing so many playmakers, I think a lot of folks are optimistic because the offensive line improvement should make up for it and then some. Still, they lose 72% of last year's rushing yardage. That's mostly Etienne and Trevor Lawrence being gone. And then they lose their top two receivers, 62% of their receiving yardage overall. That's Cornell Powell and Amari Rogers and Travis Etienne, even their third leading receiver. So they're all gone. So it's a lot to replace. But I think Justin Ross is the biggest thing in terms of playmakers. Him coming back and the offensive line getting better to help the running game. How big of a factor are those two things? And I think it could net out to be a positive for Clemson.
Yeah, Justin Ross all over the place in these preseason publications, first and second team All-America teams. Joseph Ngata, Frank Ladson, how much do you expect them to factor in?
Yeah, so last year I was writing preseason articles about how they were the two guys who were going to be the leading receivers, and then obviously it was Amari Rogers and Cornell Powell. So, now it's sort of a year delayed, but I think, their third year, they have a great breakout opportunity. I don't want to, go back to the well again and be proven wrong again, but it was really more injuries, and I'm particularly a fan of Frank Ladson's speed height combo. Whenever I see that, that's exciting when a guy can turn on the burners but can also go up and get it. Ngata might be a bit more physical, but I'm not sure that he's got the same quite like top end speed, at least from just kind of the eye test. The other guy that I feel like we don't talk about enough, or people don't talk about enough, is EJ Williams. He was great. He was one of Clemson's better receivers. He's just young. So even if Frank Ladson or Joe Ngata or both of them are struggling with injuries, EJ Williams is a similar receiver, and he's actually from the same hometown is Justin Ross. Very similar kind of player even. Just younger. So I think he's another guy to be excited about in a very similar mold.